Howdy, partner. Welcome to one of the most northern parts of the United States of America. Travel with me upriver as we talk to a bunch of ladies and fellers and they share their tales of wit and wisdom. That's right, it's time again for Skagit Storytellers.
With Liz Duffy. Okay, our levels are good. So you said you like to watch podcasts.
Yes.
I don't ever want to do video.
Really? I was wondering because
I feel like it would change everything.
For sure. Well, I was wondering because I haven't. Just today, I was like listening to some of your episodes. I listened to the one with like Corey Vincent and
that one's great.
Just like a little bit of Summer and Andrew Valen.
Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, then I like searched on YouTube. I was like, is there a video element? Because I definitely watch a lot and I don't really listen to them. I don't know why. I like to like see their faces.
But when you're in the car, what do you do?
I guess sometimes I'll literally have a YouTube video on, but just not. But I only watch like certain ones. Like I only watch a few. Then I'll like listen to audiobooks or just music. How long have you been using this little space? And like
we moved here September. So you said you live nearby, but that's Mount Vernon. That's not really. Would you say that's nearby?
I mean, it took me 15 minutes to get here, so. I don't know. I guess everything's kind of relative.
Yeah.
For me, I'm used to like driving all over the place. So 15 minutes is like a snap of the fingers, like compared to maybe driving an hour.
Where would you say that most of your shows are?
I played a lot at Farm Strong in Mount Vernon, and then I've played a lot up in Bellingham. So I'd say like in the Skagit area and then Bellingham. And I think it's like expanding a little bit because I'm in a bunch of different groups now that we're going to play in a bunch of different places. Haven't played in like Seattle that much. Those are kind of the main spots so far.
On our drive home, Olive asked what band you were in. I think he was in one called Sweetwood. I don't know if you still are. And I said, I think he does solo stuff. And I said, I don't know, Olive. And she goes, well, what do you know about him? I go, he's like a tech guy. He does like sports sort of. And that's all I know. And she goes, oh. And I go, these are my favorite ones. You come in. We just met 5 minutes ago, and I don't know anything about you. I think you're from here?
I was born in Federal Way and raised, in Federal Way. And then went to Western up in Bellingham.
So that's what brought you up here?
Yeah.
What was the program that...
I kind of tried to switch around a lot, but I graduated with the BA in design, like graphic design, and minor in psychology. I was like double majoring in psychology, but then it was like too exhausting after I was like in the middle of the first main class in the psychology program, and it was like, oh my gosh, I just would rather do creative stuff.
Did you want to be a counselor, therapist? Was that the point of going into it?
Yeah, I think there was definitely a desire, and I still feel like that, where it's like I want to like help people like heal whatever they're going through, and same for myself. And I think I was just tired in that moment of like so much class work to do, but then also I feel like in a certain way like doing the creative, like focusing more on in the creative world, like that can all be infused into one thing. Like I don't think my greatest environment for utilizing all my gifts is like just sitting down in a room talking with somebody. Like I feel like doing something more creative and coming at it in a different way is what feels better for me.
Do you think you'd go back and get your double major ever, or you're like done with that?
I think I'm done with school. I think now I'm just kind of want to build the creative kingdoms. Yeah.
How old are you again?
I'm 30. Yeah. How old are you?
Do people think you're older or younger?
I think it depends on how long my beard is at the moment.
Okay.
If my beard is like shorter, then it's younger. And if it's longer, then people think I'm like mid 30s. I mean, the longest of my life I've had it is like, imagine like a rougher beard version of Wes Jones, but like blondish and like kind of disheveled and like homeless looking. I would say that was the longest. And I probably will never shave it to the bare skin. I think some people have good chin genetics, and I don't think me and my family has the greatest chin. Like, I've had a beard so long now that if I cut it short, it's like I'm a different person, and I'm like so used to looking at my face with the beard. So
you know those videos of like when dads shave and the kids freak out, but that's you looking at yourself in the mirror.
I cry.
You're freaking
like
out.
I'll shave and I'll cry, and like I'll have it's actually literally
Why did I do that?
It's like a week long identity crisis. Well, it's like you get so used to looking at yourself, and then in your mind you create this picture of who you are, and then it's like, oh yeah, like I got this beard, I'm cool, or whatever, and then you shave it off, and you're like, maybe I need to do some more work on myself to have some more inner confidence, because I'm not leaving the house for like 2 weeks. I gotta let this thing grow back.
Like way worse than a bad haircut.
It's way worse. I've like accidentally like maybe like I didn't eat enough, so my hands are like shaky, and I'll like slip, and like one time I literally cut like an inch out of my sideburn.
What?
And I had to I literally drew it in with like a charcoal pencil.
Did you have a show that night and you were self-conscious, or what?
No, I was like going out with friends.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like going out in Bellingham, and I was like, I have literally a rectangle out of my beard, and I just drew it in, and it was fine. But like sometimes you like accidentally cut things too short, or like I feel like it's sometimes you like, and we can do this in all areas where it's like we zoom in so attentively onto one little thing, like we're hyper focused, like, man, this part needs to be trimmed. And then like 10 minutes later you zoom out of it, and you're like, what have I done? Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's so funny because I feel like everybody's like, man, middle school was the worst. It's so awkward, it's so bad. And like it was really awkward, and you like feel so many different things, and like your voice goes from like a triple high octave C to like a low. You're like just changing.
Yeah.
But I feel like my middle school was pretty good. Yeah. Like those are like honestly the glory days. Like I dream about those days every day.
Was high school better?
I feel like high school kind of got weird for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like pair off into like different groups? Like were you a musician back then?
Yeah.
In high school. Okay. So were you with like the music kids?
I was like weirdly in everything. Like I had one, like my left foot was like in the band room. My like right foot was like on the sports field, and my hands are like, I don't know who else is left, but they're hanging out with the other people. I wasn't not friends with like the popular kids or whatever, but I just didn't like party or drink or anything.
Were your parents pretty strict? And like ask you?
Not really. I feel like I have a bunch of older siblings, so by the time they got to me, it was like kind of just like free reign.
Are you the baby?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the youngest of 6 kids.
Oh wow.
And so I think.
So what are the ages right now?
My oldest brother is old.
I'll cut out the wait time so it looks like you know your family.
Yeah. No, my oldest.
Spit them all out.
Well, there's a lot of them, so it's like my oldest brother is 19 years older than me, so he must be 49.
Okay.
I think he's turning 50.
Well,
oh wait, he just turned 50 this year.
We'll just do the differences then. So 19 years, and then whatever.
He actually just turned. My oldest brother turned 50 this year.
Did you have a big party for him?
No.
I'll cut that out. We'll say yes.
They're not listening. They don't care.
You don't think they'll listen?
My mom would listen.
Yeah.
Hey, Mom. Yeah. What's the question?
So your brother's 50, and then
it's like,
is it like big gaps? Normal.
It's kind of like 3 older, 3 younger. So it's like 50, and then I think my sister just turned 47 or so. There's like another brother up there that's like 48 or 40. I don't know, they're old, and then there's us younger 3, or like it's me, and then my closest brother is 5 years older than me 2 years after that. So 30, 35, 37, and then in the 40s. And
now you live in Mount Vernon by yourself?
Yeah, this is my first time living in an apartment by myself.
Your first time?
Yeah.
How's that feel?
There's definitely less pressure to be as on it with like cleaning and stuff. So I don't know if you saw, but or I guess I might have just put this on my close friends, which I don't know if we're there yet. But I put like a picture of like literally a huge Jenga stack of like cardboard boxes that were just like
Like
I
pizza boxes?
No, not pizza boxes.
Oh, like
there was like
Amazon.
one pizza box in there, I think, maybe. But just like recycling stuff that I hadn't taken out yet.
Yeah.
It's like in and out, not enough time to like put it away. So there was like literally stacking up, and it looked like a cat tower, like for like a homeless cat. Though.
Do you have a cat?
No.
I feel like that's your next step.
That's what I was thinking too. It was like, okay, I'm living by myself, getting used to that.
Turning 30.
Next thing, get a pet, get some more responsibility. Then like a year or two after that, I'll probably have like a kid with somebody, I'm assuming. And then
Yeah.
just ride off into the sunset from there.
Anyways, we got a little track here. This is my podcast. It's just constantly we're going.
All the
off track.
podcasts I listen to are like comedy podcasts. So it's literally just like 100 different bits that like go off into different directions, and there's not really a purpose except for to just like talk.
Well, whenever people they'll say, "Oh, I'll be too boring," I'm like, if you're boring, it's my fault. Like I'm not asking you the right
That's
questions.
true.
You know, yeah. So it's
It's all your fault.
worst case, we'll make this 20 minutes and just put a bunch of your music after it.
Yeah. Totally.
Okay, so I was gonna ask about your musical journey.
In middle school, I started playing saxophone. Like I was in band and then
That's
jazz.
why you had a great middle school experience.
Yeah.
Saxophone.
Yeah, I played like in jazz band. I played all the different saxophones. Like my first year, or like I guess that's like 6th grade. It's like alto sax. Then next year was like tenor sax, and then bari sax. And then I played 1 year in high school, but then it was like a weird balance of like, man, I'm friends with all the nerdy people, and like I am that, but then also it's like I'm on the football team, and it's like they don't match very well. Like the band kids would just sit in their hallway at lunch and just eat their lunches together, and then all like everybody looked at them like they're weird, and I'm like, man, I like them, but I can't afford to be seen like that. So then I'd sit with the other people that are like more quote unquote popular. And eventually I just kind of, I think part of me was like overwhelmed with all the pressure that I just kind of quit everything.
Yeah.
As far as like sports, like I slowly started to drop out of sports. I only played music in high school like for 1 year. And then there was like a long gap of like, I guess not a long gap, but a couple year gap of like no music playing at all. And then my freshman year in college at Western, one of my friends like gave me a acoustic guitar, which is the first time I had ever had a guitar. So I like painfully started to like learn how to play chords. My fingers hurt so bad. They would like, it's like you would just touch a string and it would like, you want to cry.
So you taught yourself.
And I did cry.
So you taught yourself how to play?
Yeah. And just like YouTube videos or whatnot. But yeah, and then I started to like, I don't know, I've always been like creative. So I just started like write really bad songs. Like, I'm sad. This girl doesn't like me. Why? Yeah, and then let's see.
When did you first get your confidence to like go up on stage and play?
Oh, well, it's still not there.
Oh.
No. Yeah, so I got a guitar and then like started to kind of learn, and then eventually I like got a series of concussions and like head injuries when I was at school, and then
From what?
Like different sports.
So you're like Trevor. You're like glossing over this, like, oh, I got concussions, but we won't talk about that.
Well, right now we're talking about the musical journey. That's like a whole nother. I mean, it's within it. But yeah, so I got these like head injuries. Super chill. And then like the last one, so I hadn't been playing a lot of music, but the last one I had to like leave school, leave Western, and I was like kind of a home at my parents' house, just kind of like there's a lot to it. But I like basically had to like take time away from society for like a year or two. And during that time I was like journaling a lot, and I started like writing more songs to like help myself like heal and just like process things. And that's when I really started to like to songwrite a lot more. And then eventually I was like I didn't feel 100% better necessarily from my concussions and my injuries, but I needed to like do something instead of just like chilling at my parents' house, even though like it's like it was super hard. But I was like, okay, I gotta finish school at least. Like I need to do something. So I went back to school, And then like during that, I went back during summer quarter, and I was sleeping on my friend's couch, taking classes, and my friends were like musicians, and they would like play music, and we'd all kind of like jam together. And then that's how like the first band that I was ever in was formed.
What band was that?
We were called And Then the Rain.
I love band names. Like the first band names are the best.
Yeah, And Then the Rain. And we named it like that because we like played a random show at this little festival off Lake Whatcom, and then like right after the show it just started like pouring rain, and I was like it was like a light bulb moment. I was like And then the rain. So
you went on stage unnamed? Like you're like, hey, we don't have a name yet.
It was like 3 cool people that play music. LLC. I don't know. Yeah, and then that band happened, and then you want me to continue with the whole?
How many bands have you played in?
Let's see. So that's one. That was like the first one, and then I met like Paige Woods, and then through Paige I met like Savannah Woods and Ireland Woods, and then I played a lot of music with all of them. Played a lot of music with Savannah. Me and Ireland had a band called Sweetwood. And then now I'm just kind of like over that time I've also like randomly played with other bands, and now I'm like involved with like 5 or 6 different bands. It's a lot.
Yeah. So who do you play with now?
Right now I'm playing, so I do like solo stuff as much as I can or like have time to do, which is like.
What's your solo name?
Dr.Sweets.
Okay, how did the doctor come about? Sweets is your last name.
Sweeting is my last name.
Oh, Sweeting is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason, when I used to play like so much Call of Duty, like I literally made like quick scoping montages. Yeah. I usually don't even talk about it. It was a dark, fun time of my life. But just basically like played so many video games and like would be like on teams with people, and we'd like compete, and then I'd make like videos just showing how cool everything, like it's, yeah.
And so that was your name, like your handle?
So like, yeah, one of my gamer tags was Dr.Sweets. I don't know why, because my mom is like, if there was actually a Dr.Sweets, it'd be my mom, because she has a doctorate of education. So it's like, I'm kind of just a poser.
You're honoring your mom.
Yeah, everything I do is for my mom.
The only one that's listening.
And she is listening right now.
You'll have one listen.
She might have only listened for like 10 minutes, and then she'll lie.
We'll
like,
mention her every 5 minutes, so she has to keep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like if she'll, this is a test. If she made it this far, then you'll know that you have to tell me like a code word.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you made it this far, Mom.
Tell me the name of my first band.
Yeah. Or just say like, I love apples, or like apples. I don't know. Just,
I love
yeah.
that.
And if she's like, if I'm like, Mom, did you listen? She's like, yeah. It's like, what'd you think?
If she doesn't say I love apples.
Yeah, then I know
it's
she's
over.
a fake.
You have to cut that relationship off.
For sure. I don't know how that's possible, but
hurry, do it before Mother's Day.
that's true. Wait, how long do we got? A couple months? All right.
Okay, so Dr. Sweets is your solo, and then you're playing with.
Yeah, so that's solo, and then I'm playing bass. Like mostly bass and then a little bit of keys with City of Pines, which I just started playing this last summer with. Like we're playing our first full band show coming up this next Thursday.
Oh, where's that?
It's going to be at the High Dive in Seattle.
Cool. Yeah.
And we're playing with have you heard of like Sour Fuzz?
Yes, from Bellingham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Justin, who's in Sour Fuzz, who I've played a lot with Savannah Woods and a lot of those people. He's playing drums with City of Pines now as well. So there's that band, and then I'm playing with my friend Jason Chang. I'm playing keys and saxophone for his band.
What band's that?
We just decided on a temporary name, which I kind of like it, so I hope it's permanent. But it's Jay Chang and the Lover Boys. So I'm Dr. Sweets and a Lover Boy.
Yeah, there you
go. And then I'm also playing drums with Joshua Utek a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of a lot. I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm not gonna lie.
Are you gonna announce right now that you're quitting all of them? Is this why you came?
So
on the podcast?
yeah, I came here to say, I love you guys, but
and then if no one answers, they didn't listen.
And yeah, then I guess I'm still playing because nothing I'm saying matters. Yeah. I've never played the doorstop.
Well, it just sounds like you're hitting all the instruments. So I think the doorstop is your next.
Yeah. I'll just glue it or like, yeah, maybe lodge it
You'll
in
be
there.
like one of those guys with like the cymbals like on his knees, you know, and he's
We've
playing.
joked about it. I've tried it.
Have you really tried?
A little bit. Well, I've like played solo shows where I'll like have like, oops, my bad. I like have like a kick drum and then like a foot tambourine. And then we've joked about like taping like a stick to my head, like a drumstick, and then having like a cymbal crash where I just whip my neck a little bit. We're trying to find a instrument for every body part.
Yeah. Who's
Not
we?
Me. Me and
When I'm at my apartment by myself.
well,
You're just
no, like in the past, like with like Savannah and like other friends, we've joked about that. But now, yeah, sadly, it's just me talking to myself most of the time. You got to entertain yourself somehow. I don't have a pet. I have like 3 real plants and like 4 fake ones.
Okay.
So I talk to myself a lot, and I just watch podcasts. So
I think you're supposed to talk to plants, though. That's like a
I
thing.
actually started doing that and like tried to like, because they weren't looking that good. I'm like, it's gonna be okay. Like, I'm sorry. I'm so
Are you
sorry.
not watering them?
I do, but some of them don't like that much water.
Oh, okay.
Some of them are kind of confusing. Some of them are like girls, where it's like they say one thing, but they're actually feeling another thing.
Finally, we're getting into this phase.
Yeah,
of the
they're like,
podcast.
water me, and then you water them, and they're like, that's not what I needed. Like they,
Can we talk about your relationships, but just use the word plants for girls?
yeah.
Your plants won't be listening to this, so it's okay. You can say,
Some of them might. I'll listen to it. I'll listen back in my apartment. Talking about real plants now.
Stop winking at me.
I'm not. Wink.
All right, so plants. You have 3 plants.
I
Okay.
think sometimes I leave the blinds closed a little bit too much, and then they don't get the energy. They don't get the love from
Yeah.
the sun. I give them the love from me, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
It's never enough. They need other nutrients outside of. We're talking about plants.
You come home and the plants are like leaving. You're like, where are you going?
Yeah.
We can see a guy across the street that treats his plants better than.
Yeah. Last year at the beginning, in January, I started a little sports club. It's called Skagit Sports Club. And it's basically just usually like once a month, we'll just have an event that I choose and we'll play a certain sport. So like last year, we ended up playing a lot of pickleball. We had like during the summer, we played kickball, which is super fun. Played a lot of volleyball and like bowling, just kind of random sporting events just to get people like together and get people moving. Because I like playing a lot of sports and staying active. And also I feel like it's a good way for people to like meet and like talk. And I think some people, and I've been included in this too, it's like some people can connect better socially if they're like moving or doing something more physical. Like sometimes just like having normal conversations isn't as easy to kind of open up like with you and another person or a group of people. So I started that last year. We didn't do anything this month because things have been super busy, but it's just basically like a group that we do sporting stuff and just have fun.
And if people want to join, how do they do that?
I mean, basically just like follow, there's like an Instagram, it's like Skagit Sports Club, or it's on Facebook, Skagit Sports Club, and basically just like follow it or ask to join it on Facebook. And then I'll just like post like, all right, this is the date we're going to be doing this. Like we're going to go bowling on this date at this place at this time. And it's like, you're welcome to come. Yeah, pretty chill. It's like really laid back. And I've always liked to do video work and even like just
music videos for friends. Like
yeah.
that kind of
And so
thing.
that's the last year I kind of made the name Made by Sweets, which was kind of the official name for it. And it's basically just like a side business where I'll do like videography, also could do like music production, graphic design, basically anything that's creative that anybody needs support with. That's what that business is or was for. I'm not doing that as much these days because I got a new job. So I don't need as much extra cash and there's not as much time to do that stuff. And I need to focus on doing that stuff like videos and creative stuff for my own music. But yeah, like I've done a lot of music videos and music production for like Savannah Woods, her family, different people, random jobs. People have like emailed me. I've like done, like I've helped design tarot cards for somebody that I met, like literally like random little things. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so what's this full-time job that you're doing?
Super exciting. It's glamorous. I just got a job in December working at that new big Amazon warehouse off Smoky Point. Sometimes I'll have in my little station, I'll have like a notepad open with a pencil and I'll like write down stuff like ideas or like last week was it last week? I don't know. The last 2 weeks there was like a couple solo shows that I had coming up. So I was like trying to think of the set list. I was like, ooh, like writing down which songs would be good and that sort of thing.
Yeah. How many original songs would you say you have?
Honestly, I have like a Google sheet of all the songs I've ever written that need to be produced, and it's like overwhelming because there's so many and then new ones keep coming in. So there's probably at least like 50 to 100 that need to get made.
When you want to have a song get made, where do you go? What do you do?
So I'm in a little apartment right now.
Is it smaller than this?
No, it's bigger than this room, which makes me feel pretty good. I'm making it. Heck yeah. No, it's like a pretty cheap apartment.
Yeah.
Slightly bigger than this room. Not much. And there are windows and fake plants and real plants. Non-metaphorically speaking. But yeah, I've very similar, like I've soundproofed it a little bit and I've recorded some stuff in there. A lot of stuff I've been doing has like been on my own. But I think that what I'm going to do moving forward is maybe record as much as I can alone, but then have other people work on it too. Just because like I have everything I need to like mix and produce like all my own stuff. But I just noticed that I take way too long on it. And then when I go through that process, my ears and my brain just become mush. And it's like I'm not objective anymore with my own stuff. So I might start having other people help me and like mix and maybe even record some stuff for me.
Do you just keep going in the editing process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like one little thing and then you go to tweak it and you're like, well, that's good now. But then I hear this other thing.
It's like the shaving thing.
It's like shaving thing or like, yeah, but that's exactly what it's like. It's like you're like, man, that one hair is sticking out. And then you look at it in a different light and you're like, actually. And
then your chin's exposed.
Then you're bare skin just looking like a 12-year-old kid and you just want to not do it anymore.
I don't really finish things, or I don't do things quickly unless I have a deadline.
I do that and I'll put it in my calendar and then I'll work towards that. And then I'll get to that point and I'm like, it's not ready. But
then if it's not ready, what's the consequence? What happens?
Well, it's like I've released songs that I've had out, but then I've taken down because I'm like, I feel like
you can't do that.
No,
Stop doing that.
Well, I think also in some of those older songs, it's like I feel like I've improved in a lot of ways as like a singer and other ways. So it's like I want songs to go out. I want the version that's out there to do justice to what's like I know its potential is. And obviously there's a line between like being imperfect and it's fine and like perfectionism where it's like you're just kind of controlling it too much and not letting it be like free.
So it's really neat to hear a band's beginning, you know? So my point is that I don't think you should take any of your stuff down.
No, I know.
Because there's dates on everything. You're like, I wrote this in 2004 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, that's the goal moving forward. That's why I'm like trying to be so
today.
particular now about what I put out there. And even this last year, I put out 2 songs, but then I'm like, oh, I want to like master it a little bit differently or like change it.
And I worry too that you're changing them because you're too concerned about what people are going to think.
The main thing, I feel like I can just sing better on them. Like I've learned, like I think my voice has gotten stronger and able to like carry the message better. I've always liked to sing, but I think especially like when I had my last head injury, I like fasted a whole lot and lost a bunch of weight. And I think my body my body has changed over the years, and I think it's become stronger. And in the same sense, it's like when you're singing, it's like your body's your instrument. And so it's like my body and my, like there's all the muscles that are involved. It's like all that has become stronger. And so I forget what your original question was, but
no, you mentioned the head injury. I was actually going to ask you about that.
Well, so I played football growing up. I played quarterback mostly. So like 300-pound dudes just laying on me. And I'm always been like a thinner dude, so it hurt. I think that I got a lot of unofficial head injuries in football and in sports growing up. And then when I was in college, I played a lot of intramurals and just like after hours sports with friends. And I think all that accumulated head contact kind of made me more vulnerable to further injuries like later. And so I hit my head like one time when I was in college. I think it was like my second or third year. I like was playing, we called it box ball. We're like basically at the field at Western, and a bunch of us, like there was a cardboard box and a ball. Pretty sophisticated game. We're very intelligent.
Slow down.
Yeah, very intelligent cavemen just out there running around. But basically it's like whoever has the ball, you stop them from putting it in the box. Okay. And you like tackle them. And so like there was this guy who was like definitely bigger than me, and I went up to like tackle him, and I put my head down, and like his knee like hit my temple really hard. And I remember I've never like passed out or like lost consciousness, but like after that one and after other key injuries, there have been really significant symptoms. Yeah, my last head injury it's like a head and neck injury, was back in 2016. And it's like the dumbest story. It's like not like I wouldn't call it a concussion, but it's like I like hit the back of my head in like that soft baby spot, like where it's just like ripe and ready to just like
What were you doing?
That's why it's so dumb. It's like literally the dumbest way to like barely hit your head changed my life so much. Like it's simultaneously ridiculous and funny, and also like wow, like so I was in a house in Bellingham on High Street. Me and my friend Chris, shout out Chris, he's not listening. We were sitting in the living room, and then we're like super weird, and so sometimes we went to the same high school together. We were born in the same hospital.
Oh,
we lived and we lived in the same dorms in Bellingham at Western a little bit, and then we were living in the same house. And so I don't know why, but we're just weird. And so sometimes we would just act like maybe we're like becoming possessed by something. And so like I was laying on my back on the hardwood floor in like those old houses, and then he was sitting in like a lounge chair in the corner, and then I like look over, and then he starts like shaking, just like oh, like just like goofing around. And then so it's like, oh no, like I feel it too. And then I'm like laying on my back, and then I start like kind of shaking as if I'm getting possessed by a beautiful being of light. I don't know. But then I just literally just tapped the back of my head, and that night I had like a spike ball game, intramural game, and I remember feeling so off. And then after that injury, like there was hundreds of symptoms that I can't even, like it'd be too long to talk about. Well, one of the symptoms that I experienced with that specific injury was like it felt like all my limbs, like anything outside of the central part of my body, like my hands, my feet, even my head, it felt like they were like cut off, like they weren't there anymore. Even though like I could physically feel things, it's like my body is somehow not sensing that they're there. And then also like all the classic symptoms of like increased hypersensitivity to like sounds, light, all that stuff. But then also like in the area that I got hit, it's like the way that your eyes move, like eye movements, or they call them saccades. Like I got a lot of they're called saccadal intrusions. Basically it's like your eye, like because your eyes are like a muscle, like they're getting worked. And so that was affected. And so sometimes like I would notice that like my eyes weren't moving properly, or like they instead of being like a smooth motion, be like kind of jaggedy and like kind of restricted. There's like literally 100 symptoms that were like,
you had all of them.
And like you just don't know what your brain, like all the things that could go wrong in your brain. It's like literally all the different processes. It's like somehow some of those processes got warped and turned off, and it's like not things that people usually talk about. So it's like, that's why I try to keep it general, because it's like I think in all honesty 99% of people wouldn't even know what I'm talking about when I like.
Well, it's interesting to learn something new.
Yeah, there's infinite things to know, and there's infinite things that could like go wrong, and at the same time it's like I think it's helped me gain certain wisdom about how like the body works and how like everything is connected within our bodies. And because a lot of what happens is like my symptoms will kind of fluctuate depending on like how much inflammation is happening in my body, or at least this is what makes sense to me, and like what other doctors have. Like I went to a lot of doctors that couldn't help me and they didn't know what was going on, but then just like through research, and then other doctors that seem to know, like basically what seems to happen is like I have all these injuries, even like non-head injuries. Like I hit my ribs a couple years ago, like strained like my like hip flexor or something. But like basically anytime there's like increased inflammation in my body, it's like the inflammation goes to those places of injury and affects and disrupts the function of those spots. Yeah. It's like there's like scars there, and then when there's inflammation, it like goes to those spots first and then it disrupts it.
I'm surprised you still play sports.
I think there's a part of me that just loves sports so much, and it also feels good to just like compete. The head injuries, it's like they've been really serious, and at the same time it's like they're serious and not serious. It's like I can still do all my normal functions. They just feel insane sometimes. Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. I think because I've learned that a lot of my symptoms come from just having excess inflammation in my body, that like, as long as I don't hit my head too hard again, like I think that I know that I can at least control a lot of the variables that can decrease the intensity of whatever symptoms might arise. Yeah. And I don't think like I wouldn't ever play football ever again, obviously. I was
going to say, you wouldn't play football. I'll probably not go mountain biking.
I wouldn't go back. Like I wish I'd never played football, honestly.
Yeah? So if you ever go to like a youth football game, you're like, guys.
Well, I couldn't watch football for like years after.
Oh, really?
Because I used to love watching football and playing football, but then after my head injuries, it's like it's like when you buy a car, you're like you buy a Jeep and then you like only see Jeeps. It's like I had these intense head injuries, and so like every play of those sports, it's like they're getting hit harder than I got, and my life got changed like forever. Yeah. So it's like it's a little bit triggering to see that, and it's like kind of scary. Yeah. And then people are literally getting like carted off, like yeah. And there's studies that show that like even high school football players' brains are like slightly different than any other sport. Yeah,
was it a documentary or a movie with Will Smith
about like concussion?
Yeah. Maybe you don't need to watch that.
I don't want to watch it, but I know what I need to know. And hitting your head is not good. But I think it also just depends on the person. Like I think a lot of factors involved, but like certain people are more vulnerable to having ongoing symptoms. Yeah. And whatnot. But
do you feel that now that you're working full time, you have like that little space that you have after work, like you really need to like take advantage of that? Like, do you find that it's easier to get your creative work done? And it's proof that like this is what you want to do. Whereas before you're like, well, I got nothing else to do. I'll do all these creative things.
Yeah, I think it's hard. Like it's better in certain ways now because it's like I work a certain amount of hours and I make more money. Like, but before I was doing mostly music and like the Made by Sweets, and then also doing like Instacart on the side. Oh, okay. So it's like I was actually working more then to try to make enough money to like live and like pay rent and stuff. And so I'd have less time, like I'd work more and make less money, and now I'm working less than that but making more money.
Yeah.
But I think on the work days I'm kind of so tired that those days are kind of just like, because I have to like wake up at like 5:30, get down to Arlington and like clock in at like 7, and then I'm like off at like 5:30. So by the time I get home, like, okay, I'm kind of, it's like a physical job.
Yeah, that's true.
But then it's like the other days off, it's like I don't have to think about making money at all.
Yes.
So it does, theoretically, it would allow me to get all more stuff done. But then it's like by the time, I think there's a problem.
I love watching your face while you're singing.
Yeah.
Like, I wish there was a video so you could see this, because you're like trying to
I
convince
feel
yourself as you're
No, I feel it.
I wish all my guests were this honest. This is great. You're like figuring things out like as you're saying them, and you're like, and I know that's not what
Well, it's like by the time I get to like the days not working, then I'm like, okay, well, I want to hang out with people.
Yes.
And then it's like, oh no, I didn't do any dishes that whole time I was working.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's literally a sink full of disgusting there's literally a pile of spoons and forks in my sink right now that like I hope no one ever would see them or smell them.
You're gonna go home and I gotta see a picture. So when you get home,
No, I clean.
you gotta take a picture.
No, I'm good. No, but yeah, I should probably. There's a pressure on myself that I feel to get more stuff done, and it's weird too because a lot of my work, like the music work, I think it would help me having. I don't know if these are just excuses or not, but
Well, there's excuses, but sometimes it's like it's not an excuse, but it's a reason. You know?
Yeah, it's like I think the optimal situation would be that I go somewhere else to work on music stuff, because once I'm at home, it's kind of associated with being tired and like resting. And I have my room, it's like a studio apartment. I have like split with like wall, like little room dividers. And so like my music area is like on the other side. So theoretically it's like separated, but I think it would help having a separate space, like a little studio space where it's like when I'm there, it's like we're getting stuff done. And there's not, because I think I'm just like so sensitive to my environment that like all the little cues around me like affect me so much that if I'm in that atmosphere of like my apartment where I sleep, it's hard to work on that stuff.
No, and I don't think that's an excuse at all, but that's a really valid reason. Like that's why like this writers group is at the library. So it's like everyone's coming there, and like that's the only like while you're writing, your laundry's not sitting beside you.
Yeah.
Begging you. Like,
I know, it's like my bed is like right over there. It's like it's like beckoning. As I'm like, trying to work. So I think that is a factor. I've been trying to like go through that, but
well, I only use this on Thursdays. So
looks like I'm moving in.
I was thinking, I think you'd be a really good podcast host. Have you ever thought about starting a podcast?
I think it'd be so much fun to do a podcast. Be good at it.
Yeah, I really think it would be
fun.
I don't want to distract. How about this? Get your album done.
Okay.
Then start, like, because I think you'd be really good at it, and I think you'd probably want to do it, but I don't want that to distract you.
Well,
So
that's
get
a
your
problem.
album done.
There's so many things that sound fun, and I'm like, maybe I don't even want to do music, and then I like start like remembering my songs. I'm like, oh, I gotta get this song out there.
Yeah.
But then it's like I watch so many podcasts where it's like this is actually so much fun, just like sitting talking.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen you at a show. Do you only go to shows that you play at? And this is not a judgment call. I'm just like making an observation.
I think I used to go to a lot more shows just to listen, and nowadays there's always like a band practice. Like the schedule is just a lot more full.
Oh, because you have so many. Yeah, I get it. You have to go to band practice.
So it's like there's only so many limited spots to do things. Although I might, what's today, Thursday? I might try to find, like, it's fun to go to shows. I just also am not the kind of person that would like go alone. I just
really?
I mean,
I'm very outgoing and social.
I'm super confident. That was said sarcastically. If you could see the video,
He's crying right now.
Yeah, I'm actually blushing. I'm shaking.
You really, like, you would never go to a show by yourself?
I would go. It depends. Like if my friends are playing, I would go see them.
Yeah.
I think I haven't built that confidence within myself to just go.
That is shocking. I would never have guessed that at all.
But it's funny because I feel like in this setting, for some reason, I feel comfortable talking because it's kind of like we're in somebody's head. It's like this isn't reality. It's like this doesn't feel real in a certain way. It's kind of like we're just talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
In a way.
So in the real world,
I don't even know how to speak English. I'm so old now, 30. Like, I just get more hungover, and then it's like takes a couple days to like be like back to normalish.
yeah.
And it's like
Hangovers
there's
get so worse.
yeah, like there's so many things going on these days. It's like all my plants to take care of. It's like I gotta be there for them, so it's like I can't have.
I think your plants are part of this resistance plan, to keep you from putting your art out into the world.
So you're saying I get rid of them?
Get rid of your plants. Bring them here.
Yeah. Well, then they'll die in this room. They already don't like my room when it has full window.
All right. So in your intro, I'll talk about all your new shows that you're part of, and hopefully we can announce your album release party.
Yeah. Well, I'm also playing at Farmstrong in April.
Okay.
Close to my birthday.
Okay.
For April 17th. So
by yourself or?
That's going to be like a full band show.
Oh, cool.
It's going to be me and Shannon Patino as well, and then we're going to have a full band. I think Jason, who I mentioned, will be playing with us, and we're going to rally all the friends and play. All
right. So you're going to leave here. You're going to go write one song, produce it, and send it to me by Friday. And 7:00. Are you going to one of your band meetings?
No, I think I got to go check on my plants.
And your dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My forks and spoons and knives.
Yeah.
That are dirty and moldy.
Do you like Wilco? Do you know Wilco, the band?
I know Winco.
Okay. In Miguel's episode, he literally said that. He goes, Winco? I'm like, a band, Wilco. They're one of the most popular American folk bands.
For some reason, it looks like there's a vision in my mind, and it's like Wilco. It's like a industrial company.
Well, it's a band.
In like the desert.
But Jeff Tweedy's the lead singer, and he has a book called How to Write One Song, which I know you know how to do, but I just feel like there could be something in there, little nuggets to help you.
Wait, what's it called? Sorry.
How to Write One Song. I have a list of books I'm going to
send me stuff. With all my head injuries, the words sometimes just go through. Like, so you just have to send it.
Okay. And then I'll send you the draft, and you'll be like, what did we talk about?
Yeah.
You won't remember.
I don't even remember how I got here.
How do you get out? The door's upstairs.
I don't even know who you are. This is crazy.
Why did I agree to this? Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for coming over.
Thanks for having me.
I've been running around. I've been lost trying to get found. I've been begging, please, but now it's up to me. Yeah, it's about time that things start turning around. 'Cause if you don't take action now, you'll be left in the dust. I've been running free. I've been finding me. I've been learning to see all of the things that were stopping me. It's about time that things start turning around. 'Cause if you don't take action now, you'll be left in the dust. on my knees, been knocked off my feet. Now I'm rising up.